Good Monday evening. It is December 26th. I'm Chief Meteorologist Mike Everett, and it is just coming up on 9 p.m. on this Monday evening after Christmas. I hope you all had a safe and wonderful one. We do have some severe weather moving in tonight. In fact, we are in first alert mode through Tuesday as we're tracking another round of soaking heavy rains and some gusty winds that could rival, in fact, even exceed what we saw early on Monday morning. And that's going to create some flooding concerns and possibly some mudslide concerns as well. So I'll get right into it. Here's what we are looking at. Let me just double check. Yep, first alert weather is up on your screen there. So we will be on this overnight tonight through Tuesday. And what we're looking at is periods of heavy rain, wind, mountain freezing rain, potentially, especially off towards the east. That's not such a big concern. But what we are looking at is the possibility of some mudslides, more power outages as we see some gusty winds there, and some river flooding. It is right after 9 p.m. and as we take a look across the Seattle Metro, we are seeing some temperatures that at least aren't cold anymore. That was the big story last week. In fact, we saw a lot of that low-level snow. Now a lot of that is getting rain on it because we're seeing that flow coming in from the south and west, despite the fact that we've got some light flow coming in from the north and northeast along the surface right now. It's been raining pretty steadily throughout the evening, and it looks like business will pick up overnight tonight. Flood watch in effect. Heavy rain on saturated soils will create some slide potential until about 10 a.m. on Wednesday. I'll walk you through the rain hour by hour coming up in just a moment here, but everything you see in green, even off towards the east and down into Oregon, is under that flood watch currently. There's another layer to this. You see that really bright green there? That's a coastal flood advisory, and that'll be in place in coastal Skagit, Whatcom counties out towards Island, Clallam, and even off towards San Juan. And the deal is there are a couple things. We've got king tides happening right now along the coast, but anywhere that gets some really gusty winds, and we're going to see those blowing in pretty much straight from the west, especially across the Strait of Juan de Fuca, that creates some low-level flooding potential, especially right along the shore there. So that's kind of an extra layer there. That'll be in place until 1 p.m. on Tuesday when those winds finally start to back off. And speaking of winds, a wind advisory is in place. It's going to stay there through 1 p.m. on Wednesday. We'll see winds about 20 to 35 miles an hour sustained with some isolated gusts in excess of 50 miles an hour. And that's on top of the gusty winds that we saw early on Monday morning. So yeah, power outages likely in a lot of spots. Now, another thing that the National Weather Service has issued, everything that you see in white there is a special weather statement. They've kind of got out in front of this and said there's a few spots that we're watching in particular, especially off towards Clallam County, off towards Hood Canal, and then in a lot of the foothills near the base of the Cascades facing westward, where there is high landslide and mudslide potential. You've got super saturated soil because we've been seeing a lot of rain on what was previously snow last week. Then you add more rain on top of that. We're talking anywhere from about 1 to 3 inches depending on where you're located, and those gusty winds, again, getting up to about 50 miles an hour. That's going to blow a lot of trees down. So yeah, there's big time flood potential. Just be very, very careful and be spatially aware when you're out driving, even when you're out walking. Just stay away from cliffs and overhangs for the next couple days. So this is what radar looks like on Monday night. This is a 2-hour loop. We've been seeing some steady rain, not only moving through Seattle, but across all of western Washington through most of the night. Heavier band of rain up towards the Canadian border, where it was fairly quiet around the dinner hour, but it looks like business is picking up now. GO 17 satellite looks to be a little pixelated right now, but you see the arrow up towards the upper right-hand corner of your screen? That's where Seattle and the Pacific Northwest and Puget Sound are, and that system that you see kind of wrapped in blue, that's a low-pressure system. It's tight, and it has got a lot of moisture around it. In fact, if you look down towards the south there, it looks like California and Oregon are about to hit an atmospheric river and really take on a lot of heavy rain over the next couple of days. So they needed the moisture, but that's going to be like drinking out of a fire hose. Meanwhile, closer to home here, all the yellows and oranges you see, that'll be some of the heavier rain, and we are expecting some of that to move through overnight tonight. By about 2 a.m., we start to see that break apart a little bit, so we'll kind of see it become a little bit more band-like in nature. It'll kind of come and go in the early morning hours of Tuesday. By 8 a.m. on Tuesday, we see more steady rain. We'll see a rain shadow up towards the San Juans and the Orcas there. Meanwhile, down towards the southwest interior and the Olympics, we'll see steady heavy rain, and we'll see some of that up towards Skagit and Whatcom counties as well. This is 3 p.m. on Tuesday. We catch a little bit of a break. In fact, we'll catch a couple of rain shadows there, but this is when I expect the winds to be at their gustiest. You also notice that snow levels are starting to drop there as well. It's going to be active active Tuesday afternoon and Tuesday evening. So if you are planning on making a pass run, I think Tuesday morning would probably be your best bet, or if you have the luxury, wait until Wednesday. Right around 7:30, you are seeing some yellows and some oranges near Seattle and Interstate 90, indicating that we could see more bands of heavy rain there. But then that's going to be about it for this system. By the time we get to Wednesday morning, things really start to clear up for us. In fact, we've got a pretty good shot at seeing some sun breaks on Wednesday, and well, we could use it because it's been a while. But we get right back into it again on Thursday. Another system swings through, and it looks like we'll start to see that rain start up again early on Thursday morning. We'll keep you updated on the timing there. So how much rain are we talking about? Well, by the time we get to Tuesday morning, or about 12 hours from when I'm talking to you right now, we're looking at about 1.5 inches along the coast. Olympia picks up about 1 inch. Seattle picks up about 1.25 inches there. Everett, Bellingham, not so much, but it looks like that will change. In fact, as we get to about Wednesday, by the time this event is over, all of us are going to pick up at least 1 inch and possibly closer to about 3 inches out towards the coast. Bellingham picks up about 1.5 inches of rain. Everett picks up 2.5 inches. And even off towards the east there, we're going to get a combination of freezing rain and what looks like it's going to be just good old-fashioned rain. Now, winds aren't too gusty on this Monday evening. We've got a gust up to about 20 miles an hour in Everett, close to 40 miles an hour out towards Hoquiam. But here's what to prepare for. You see a lot of offshore flow in advance of the system moving in, but then overnight, once that system gets close, you'll start to see that switch around to the south and southwest. Gusts get up into the 30, 40 mile an hour range along the coast, but you're also seeing some 20s and 30s up and down Puget Sound from Olympia all the way up towards Oak Harbor. As I mentioned earlier, I think these winds are going to peak Tuesday afternoon, but look at this. Oak Harbor's picking up gusts around 40, 35 in Olympia, and off towards the coast, we're still seeing gusts up to 20s and 30s there. Now, fast forward just a little bit farther. Did it freeze on me? No, here we are, 3 p.m. I want you to ignore the numbers for a minute and just look at the colors. Along the coast, when you start to see those purples, that indicates to me that we're going to be seeing gusts in excess of 50 miles an hour right along the immediate coast. It also indicates that that's when the low and the front are going to be passing by. You see it coming up from the south there along Puget Sound. Oak Harbor, gusts up to about 40 miles an hour. That's an area that's already had a lot of widespread power outages. So with heavy rain and wind, it's entirely possible we could see more. Now take a look at this. You notice by about 11 p.m. on Tuesday, that's a clear sign that the front has passed, and this is becoming what's called a zonal flow. A really fancy way of just saying that it's going from west to east, the exact opposite of what we had on Monday night. And again, you're seeing gusts that are still up in the upper 20s and even some mid 30s all the way across the region. So it's not like the wind's going to gust up and then back off. It looks like it's going to stay gusty / breezy throughout the entire day. Now we fast forward to about Wednesday morning. Now the system is gone and everything's back to normal again. In fact, we calm down, less wind, less rain, and again, the opportunity to see the sun poke out there for a bit, and temperatures that'll be pretty reasonable for this time of year. By about 11 p.m. on Wednesday, you start to see some more of that offshore flow, indicating we've got a little bit of high pressure trying to build, but as we saw earlier, that new system will push in on Thursday morning. So take a look at this. Snow levels have been way up high. In fact, they got up to about 7,500, 8,000 feet over the weekend. 5,500 on Tuesday indicates to me that we're going to be seeing rain at pass level, possibly some freezing rain in some of those spots, and it looks like a lot of the resorts are going to get rained on as well. But hang in there. By the time we get to Tuesday, we start to see those snow levels really take a dip. Now Wednesday is going to be a dry day, so that's a freezing level, not a snow level, but Thursday, that's a snow level down to about 1,500 feet, and we're going to be active there. And then going through the weekend, we kind of ride back and forth between 2,500 and 3,000 feet, so should be pretty decent if you got a new snowboard or a set of skis or some snowshoes you want to get up and try them out. I think next weekend's going to be fantastic to go out and give that a try. One more thing I want to talk to you about is freezing rain accumulation. This map kind of underdoing it a little bit, but what I see is the potential for a lot of freezing rain to fall and stick overnight Tuesday into Wednesday, or no, excuse me, Monday into Tuesday. So you're seeing some of those pinks off near Wenatchee, Ellensburg, Highway 2, Interstate 90. I think the farther east you go, the higher the probability you're going to see some freezing rain. And we saw what a mess that was in Seattle. So do be very, very careful with that stuff. Don't mess with it because, well, freezing rain creates that really slick ice that sometimes is invisible and very dangerous to cars and pedestrians. All right, let's talk snow. By 9 a.m. tomorrow, I'm a little bit cautious about this because, again, we saw how high those snow levels are. It's going to take them a while to drop. So I don't think it's going to be an epic day up at Snoqualmie, Stevens, Crystal, Mission Ridge. But Baker, I seriously doubt there's going to be 18 inches of new snow up there by 9 a.m. because I probably shook sand and maybe like the tip of Mount Baker, yes, but the resort itself, I don't think so. But watch this. We start moving forward there. We see those snow levels drop, and now we're starting to get some real accumulation. So if you want to get up on Wednesday morning, I think that's going to be your best time to do it. Stevens and Snoqualmie could have about a foot of fresh pow waiting for you, and it's going to be cold too, so it could be some good stuff. And then I believe that Mount Baker will start to see some accumulating snow along with White Pass, Mission Ridge, Hurricane Ridge. I don't think you can go wrong. Anywhere you go from Wednesday through Sunday is going to be fantastic. High temperatures tomorrow? Here's some good news. Take a look. Temperatures will be in the upper 40s and even some lower 50s across the region. And even off towards the east will either be at freezing or slightly above that. So no more of this sub-freezing stuff. No more negative temperatures, especially off towards the east. We catch a bit of a break. 7-day forecast shows an abundantly rainy and windy day on Tuesday. We're in first alert mode there. And then Wednesday, we catch a little bit of a sun break. System passes through on Thursday. It looks like those showers will really pick up during the second half of the day. And then Friday, it'll be the opposite. It starts rainy, tapers off to showers. And then this weekend, some spotty showers and maybe some sun breaks there. And so far, things are looking pretty good for New Year's Eve. So if you do have some New Year's Eve plans, including, by the way, on King 5, we're going to have that whole show from the Space Needle. They've got fireworks, they've got lasers, and this year they've got drones, and we're broadcasting the whole thing live, and it's going to be really, really good. And I'm going to be watching those conditions very carefully for you to let you know whether or not to bring out the rain gear, or whether it's going to be cold, or whether it's just going to be fantastic, and we're all going to have a great time. Anyway you slice it, though, tomorrow's going to be a rough day for travel, and there could be some power outages. Be very, very careful out there, but it looks like conditions will improve as we go into the final days of 2022. From the King 5 Newsroom, I'm Chief Meteorologist Mike Everett. Stay warm, stay safe, and keep looking up.